Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP's husband slaps her 10 times a day. Am I the butthole for slapping my husband in the face? My husband, who's 43, thinks that it's funny to constantly slap me in the privates all day, every day. He sneaks up behind me and will stick his finger in my butt or slap my lady parts. He does this in front of the kids? What? Once or twice is one thing, but he does this at least 10 times a day. Tonight, I was in the shower washing my face and he came in and slapped my privates. He knows that I don't like it. I've told him. I also have bad hemorrhoids after having kids, so when he sticks his finger there, it hurts. He knows this. Sorry if this is too much information, but I'm pissed. After the shower tonight, I slapped him in the face. Not hard, but enough to sting. His reaction, whoa, was to punch me in the stomach and tell me that he wants a divorce for hurting him. He's never done that before, and in my opinion, he way overreacted. After 11 years of marriage, that was a first, and he said that I'm the butthole. Meanwhile, I'm ready to leave and take the kids tonight. I know that his reaction wasn't okay, but was I out of line? All right, hold on, we can do the math on this one. 365 days in a year, times 11 years of marriage, times 10 slaps a day. This comes out to 40,000 times that OP has been slapped. And then she slaps her husband once and suddenly she's the bad guy? Yeah, right. Honestly, OP, I'm shocked and horrified that you endured this abuse for so long. Please leave this guy. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your husband 4 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to lend my sister-in-law money because she got the house that I was expecting to go to all of us? Years ago, my wife and I moved back to live near her elderly parents. We bought a house a couple of streets over from them for about $300,000. We then helped her parents with the maintenance of their house, including replacing the carpet, 2 AC units that totaled $15,000, appliances, and weatherproofing the house. In all, we spent about $75,000 to make their house more comfortable in their remaining years, with the understanding that once they pass away, the house will be sold so that we could get our money back, then split the rest of the money evenly between the siblings. When they both passed, my wife and I found out that they left the house to my wife's youngest sister. The parents wrote a letter explaining to the siblings that the parents wanted to make sure the sister had a house because she would never be able to buy one without their help. The rest of the siblings all had houses and were doing okay, so they understood and accepted the situation. I was livid because we poured money into that house, and now we're not going to get it back. My wife and I argued for weeks until I realized that I had to accept the money was gone, or else my marriage would be ruined. Over the years, the price of houses increased dramatically in our neighborhood, and now our house is worth $1.75 million. My sister-in-law's house is also worth over $1 million, and her property tax is over $30,000, which she's been struggling to pay every year. Last year, her husband was let go from his job, so they couldn't pay their taxes in January. By February, they received a letter stating they were considered delinquent, and now they owe a 6% penalty fee and 1% interest in addition to the taxes. Soon, the penalty fee will increase to 12%. The problem is that all the siblings had financial difficulties last year, so none of them could loan her money as they did in previous years. However, me and my wife are doing okay, so my wife asked me the other day if we could loan her sister the money. I said that we poured enough of our own money into that pit and refused her request. Our arguments have gotten to the point that we're both shouting at each other. I know that I can be petty, but I think that I'm justified to not loan over $30,000 to a person who stole $75,000 from us. My wife doesn't want her sister to lose the house that they were raised in. Alright, there's just a lot of pure idiocy in this post, because if the wife's sister can't afford the house and the $30,000 taxes on it, then sell the house! Clearly that's the move, because they're gonna pocket almost $1 million, then they can downsize and get a more affordable house. Then if your wife is so obsessed with keeping their childhood home, you can sell your house, then buy that house, and you're still up $750,000 because of the house appreciation. Honestly, OP, the real villain here isn't the sister, it's your wife. She made you move closer to her parents, care for her parents, pour $75K into the house for her parents, refuse to let you get your money back, and now is demanding that you pay another $30K, your wife is straight up using you. If I were in your shoes, honest to God, I would consider divorce because the way she's treating you is just completely unfair. It's painfully obvious, OP, that she loves her family more than she loves you, and I guess she views you as something close to like a piggy bank. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. You're completely justified. I'm giving your wife's sister, and your wife's parents 4 out of 5 buttholes. It sounds like all 4 of them just expect you to supplement the sister's lifestyle with your money, which is crazy. Am I the butthole for telling my sister that it's too late for apologies? My sister and her 2 kids moved in with us after she was facing homelessness after being evicted from her place. She's become very clingy with me. I have to repeatedly tell her that my wife and I are not watching her kids. We gave her a place to stay. Yet, we have to constantly remind her to clean up after herself and her kids, and to not let her kids destroy things. She's envious if my wife and I go out. Also, she makes comments like, "It must be nice when you buy your wife new clothes or something designer." She has repeatedly talked about this and has been told to stop. Last night, my wife and I went on a date night to go out and see a live show and get sushi. My sister stayed up until close to 1 a.m. just to yell at us that we didn't get her kids something. How it's so mean that we flaunt our lifestyle while her kids are struggling and the least we could do is bring her and her kids something to eat. It's 1 a.m. Her kids aren't even awake. My sister said that she deserves a little treat from time to time and that she should have more say around the home. My wife flips out on her and tells my sister that she has to move out ASAP because she doesn't want her toxicity in her house anymore. And if she's not out in 30 days, she'll be getting the courts and child services involved to remove them from the home. And my wife told my sister that she's a mentally unstable, unfit mother. My sister acted like I would protect her, and she called my wife a B word, saying that I wouldn't let that happen. I told my sister that my wife can do as she wants because this is her home too. My sister is the one who made herself unwelcome. My sister didn't apologize, but she made us breakfast this morning, and my wife threw the plate of food away and told my sister, 29 days. My wife left to go speak to one of her cousins, who's a lawyer. My sister acted all innocent in front of her kids, who could tell that their aunt's attitude was off. My sister tried apologizing to me after my wife left, and I told her it's probably too late for that because my wife is getting the official paperwork now. It's funny how your sister says that she deserves a treat every now and then when she is getting a treat. Free rent, a place to live for free. Most people would love that. I would love that. You did your sister a huge solid, and her response is to bite the hand that feeds. You and your wife get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your sister gets 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for cashing out, enjoying life, and not giving anything to my daughter? I'm a 57-year-old woman, and I lost my husband of 25 years last year. We have a 24-year-old daughter who's been married for 2 years. My son passed away after my daughter got married, and it's been hell ever since. Our relationship with our daughter was very good and didn't have any incidents before her marriage. She was sweet and loving and was a great daughter overall. Then she got married, and since then, it's been downhill. She stopped coming to our house, stopped responding to our texts and calls, and basically went no contact. We're not rich, although my husband did have a lot of assets, which hadn't been liquidated. When he died, he didn't leave a will because it was so unexpected. After his death, my dear daughter didn't even attend his funeral nor any other functions. She didn't even call to ask how I was. Barely 6 months after my husband's passing, she and my sister-in-law barged into our house and brought with them a lawyer who told me to sign some documents and a blank sheet. Oh my God, that is a bad call. I know the legal process and I am not ignorant, so I asked her what were in the documents. She just demanded that I sign these documents and a blank sheet of paper and didn't answer any questions. I asked the lawyer what this was about, and he said that the documents would transfer all of my assets to my daughter and her sister-in-law. I said no. Here, things got violent. My daughter attacked me, and I had to scream for help. I didn't call the cops, but I threatened to. She was adamant about me signing and tried to take my thumb impression. At this point, my neighbors had come over and had witnessed pretty much the last part of the forced attempt. My neighbor, bless his heart, physically kicked them out. After this, I was shaken and hurt. At the time, I was honestly scared for my life. My daughter kept sending me messages, though none of them were threatening, probably because her lawyer told her not to. She kept sending sweet messages, thanking me for making her the beneficiary, transferring all of the assets to her, etc. I was disgusted. A week of harassment later, I decided I had enough and I wanted out. So I met my lawyer, and he said that since there was no will, I was the sole owner of all the assets and I could do as I wish. Long story short, I sold everything, made 8 figures. Whoa, 8 figures is 10 million plus, between 10 million and 99 million. And then I bought a new house in a place that I'd always wanted to be, far from everyone. Now I plan to enjoy the rest of my life traveling and generally doing things that I haven't been able to do, but I've always wanted to. I recently heard through the gossip vine that my daughter tried to start litigation against me shortly after I sold everything, but that fell through. Because, everything's in my name now. She now wants to meet me and is pressuring her lackeys to contact me and make me meet her. I said no. I don't even understand why she did all this, because after I died, all this stuff was going to her anyways. They don't know where I am presently, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. I'm no contact with my daughter and her sister-in-law, and I don't have social media except Reddit. I'm not really sure why OP said that she's not rich and then sells everything and gets a net worth over $10 million. Girl, that's rich. OP, I think you're completely justified in cutting your daughter out of your life because her behavior is disgusting. Clearly, she doesn't even love you as her mother anymore. She just sees you as an ATM who needs to hurry up and die already. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your daughter 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to financially support my sister because she chose to become a single mother? I'm a 32-year-old guy, and I have a sister, Emily, who's 34, who has always wanted to be a mother, but she hasn't been able to find the right partner. After years of waiting, I suggested she consider in vitro fertilization. I even helped her research the process and find clinics. She loved the idea and decided to go ahead with it. Emily had the financial means to afford IVF on her own, but it meant that she had to cut back on creature comforts and luxuries for the foreseeable future. 2 months ago, after her 4th round of treatment, she got pregnant. The whole family is very happy for her, and she's happy too. She didn't expect it to take so many rounds of treatment though, so the bill ended up higher than she was prepared for. She does have enough money to support herself, but not very comfortably. She asked our family for help so that she wouldn't have to make even more sacrifices. Our parents are retired and living on a fixed income, so they can't contribute much. This leaves me as her main source of potential financial support. Last week, Emily sat me down and asked me for money. I have no real issue with people choosing to be single parents if they can afford it, but I don't believe it's fair to ask others to finance such a personal choice, especially when there are significant long-term financial commitments involved. I have a wife and a newborn son. While we do have some extra money, we're using it to keep our own little family comfortable and save for a bigger house. I told Emily that I wouldn't be able to help her foot the bill. Emily was heartbroken and furious. She argued that family is supposed to support each other and that I'm being selfish and judgmental. Our parents are also upset with me, saying that I'm not being a good brother. They think that I should help her because she's family and this is her dream. They're especially upset because it was my idea and I helped her research it. I offered to help Emily by letting her eat dinner with us nightly since she lives nearby, and letting her use my car, which is cheaper since it's electric. She said that's not nearly enough. I have my own family to think about and financial goals to achieve. I feel it's unreasonable to put myself in a difficult financial position for something that's Emily's personal choice, even if I initially suggested it. So, am I not the butthole for supporting her financially? This seems really obvious to say, but if you can't afford the process of getting pregnant, then you definitely can't afford the baby that comes afterwards. What does she expect? That you'll just give her money every day for the next 18 years? Also, man, you just gotta love the parents getting mad at OP. If you think supporting family is so important, then why don't you do it? Huh? Why don't you give her money? Why don't you let your daughter move in with you? Huh? OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the rest of your family 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for going to the police immediately when I found out that my parents took out debt in my name? My parents took out credit cards and loans in my name. It was fine when they were paying the bills, but they got behind. I don't have a key to the mailbox, so I never saw the bills or anything. I just finished my 3rd year of university and I was going to move out. That would require me to get a credit check and stuff. My parents freaked out and forbid me from moving out. They said that it was stupid that I would waste money on moving out when I could save money living at home. They don't like my boyfriend, so I thought that was their issue. But I was wrong. Long story short, I'm about, $60,000 in debt because of them. I cannot afford to pay that off. I told them they needed to clear that debt immediately and change the house rules so that my boyfriend could spend the night. They said that they didn't have the money to pay the debt and that I can't strong-arm them into changing the rules of their house. I called my aunt and asked if I could please come stay with her for a bit. She let me and she asked a lot of questions. Then she showed me a dozen Reddit posts about parents screwing up their kids' future and kids allowing it. So I went to the cops and reported it. My parents got arrested and charged. They're furious with me. I know they didn't spend the money on me. I don't know what they spent it on. I don't care. I feel bad for them, but I'm not letting them F up my future. Am I the butthole? OP, as a guy whose job it is to read those dozens of Reddit posts that your aunt is talking about, you absolutely made the right call here. Based on my understanding of the system is you can call and report that this money isn't in your name and it's basically identity theft/fraud. However, that only ever works if you have a police report. So if you ask me, that's your only option available. Also, stealing $60,000 from your child and then telling them they can't have their boyfriend over for sleepovers is incredibly hypocritical. What actual garbage tier parents? OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving both of your parents 4 out of 5 buttholes. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole? And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.